the wisdom. And the fires of creation is that process of action turning knowledge into wisdom. We all know, but until we do, it's not the experience and the understanding of the experience that it takes to understand it. Experiential situation is really what it is.
It's not about what you do and all of the things you create or don't create. It is truly about lifetime to lifetime endurance and gaining joy and happiness out of it. It's not about success. It is just about joy, happiness, and love.
Have you been finding yourself stuck in a rut, unable to launch your new projects, not getting the experiences you're looking out of your spiritual experiences? You're trying to start a business and running into troubles? I have special coaching sessions for you. Spiritual readings, Akashic records, healings, all those are available to you. I invite you to come and look at the different journeys that I've done in the live shows that I've done. I'm inviting you all to come on the journey, expand your life, expand your willpower, learn more about sovereignty. We also have the Living the Mystical Life monthly membership. It's a new relaunch of the system where you get all of our live webinars and get access to our Discord server for our live shows. Go to the website, andrewbartzis.com, for more information. Come and join our community, inviting you all to come on this journey as we expand to the universe of the Great Awakening. Welcome, everybody, to our Stairway to Self-Mastery webinar / informational presentation. I am joined by Ms. Laura Massey and Miss Sam Lohman. How you guys doing today?
Great,
Really
thanks,
good,
Andrew. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. So we are here to talk about this brand new course that I've come up with. This is going to be replacing our mentorship class, though you will still have many aspects of the mentorship from it. So Laura and Sam, you guys have been on the mentorship. What was it like for you when you were on the mentorship?
So, sorry, you go, Sam. Okay, so the mentorship is a fantastic way to enhance your inner abilities, your psychic abilities. If you want, you're learning all about your different light bodies. You're learning how to ground yourself and do that work of being a celestial medium, if you like, a peacemaker, peacekeeper, all of those. So that learning that even with all these wonderful abilities, we're here to ground the light onto earth, if you want to look at it that way, or we're here to be that conduit between the celestial teachings and earth. It's all about what we do on earth now. And I think that's one thing the mentorship taught me, is how to do that and work in the quantum field at the same time without getting lost in it.
Okay, Sam,
Yeah,
for you?
I was gonna say exactly the same, but also about exactly that, and embodying that and embodying you and the I am self. And so the more you don't, like, for me, the more versions of myself that I didn't realize that I was carrying with my programs, it wasn't me, and just moving those out by doing the inner work, and which is great by the mentorships and the group practices, because people help you, you see things, you create community. Like, I've just created some of, the best friends just a really safe space, and anyone can ask a question, which leads to another thing, and you're all helping each other. And I was just saying to Andrew earlier, I don't know anywhere you can go which is a safe space for being you and totally you, with no judgment, and that residence for people to really listen to you and hold space for you, and to show up for yourself. Because the more you do, I look back on some photos of myself the other day, I'm just a different person. It's changed my life, this, so I thank you all.
So the difference between mentorship And these new teachings are very different. They're very different. The mentorship clap is much more deep into the meditative spiritual journey, much more deep into practicing the daily practice, maintaining C plus effort, which is 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week. There is a significant amount of more homework in the mentorship classes, and it's about being able to record yourself and going back to listening. That's still a staple part of this new course. But in this course, I've taken a lot of the higher responsibilities out when it comes to shamanism, the light and the dark, and I've broke the essences of the teachings down to the most core beliefs so that people can begin to do basic and intermediate self-help on their journey without having the bigger pressure of spirituality, quote unquote, challenging them, because a lot of people, they obsess about spirituality. As soon as your obsession, you're going backwards. A lot of people are unable to maintain daily practice. Okay, this particular course is going to teach you the core concepts of how to do work. Like the first teaching we're going to do is about depression, shame, blame, and guilt, escapism, and the sheeple mindset. Now, depression, everyone suffers from that in one way, shape, or form. The way the teachings are, it presents depression with ways to counter it, ways to invest into your personal journey, and then an understanding of how to eliminate depression at its core energy, which is the beginning of inner work. We've had a big change in the nature of the audience. Over the last 9 going on 10 months, we've had a massive shift to the younger millennial audience. We still have a Gen X and still have a boomer, but nowhere near significant. I believe, Joel, the last time it was like 62% millennials. A lot of these people heard about me from their mother, their cousin, something, and now many years later are coming back around, and they don't know the breadth of the teachings, or they have so many individual challenges in their life, they're not able to take up a full mentorship practice. And this course here is, you've got actual class time in which you have the safe container where you're able to ask questions, but it gives you the core central belief of how to begin making changes in your life. Okay. Okay. So it begins April 21st, March 21st, and goes on to April the 11th, 4 Saturdays in a row. That's the time investment that we're doing. And each time will be 2 hours. Well, you'll be able to break down the teachings. You'll be getting 2 teachings in each class. So you have a total of 8 teachings, 8 total teachings for you during those 4 weeks to begin your journey of creative change in yourself. And that's me. Okay, so these are all the different individual teachings. The first one's on depression. Second one's on wholeness, shame, blame, and guilt, escapism, perspective and perception and perspective, hindsight, foresight, propaganda, and sheeple. Okay. The propaganda teaching is to help you deal with all of the misinformation, malinformation, fake information, AI videos out there. It's how to deal with those indoctrination energies and how to begin to recognize it as its core frequency. The sheeple is one breaking people down into the different core tribes they attest themselves to. And all the other ones are, as they say, what truly is wholeness. Okay? Depression, lifting the fog, reclaiming the fragmented pieces of your body. All of those are for you to go on the grander journey of self-exploration. Now, Samantha and Laura, you guys have done the wholeness teaching. Anything you'd like to talk about with that?
So the wholeness teaching is one actually that I use in the clinic with some of my clients now, because it gives such a grounded perspective. And I think this is what these call them new teachings, that they are different teachings and different perspective and different way of looking at all the things that you probably covered before in mentorship. But like you said, it's taken out a lot of the work and the shamanism and the work of sticking to a spiritual practice. But what they do, like the worthiness teaching, is they take you on a journey into finding your worthiness. Yeah. And the way you've done it, Andrew, with most of these is a very strong use of metaphor from many different angles. So there's, worthiness is covered so much that you wouldn't get if you just went up and read something online about worthiness. Because of the way you look at something and your perspective, you've been able to bring that into these teachings. So they're doing a document and reading through a document like the worthiness just is so applicable to what so many people are feeling now. That lack of self-esteem, the difficulty in surviving in this world at the moment. And so many of us lost that feeling of worthiness early on down the path, but weren't always able to name it. And that depression, you name it, you show it, you take us on a journey of how to heal it. So you don't just say what it is. The journey you take us on through every document is what to do about it in practical ways using metaphors.
And poetry too.
Oh,
and
yes.
Poetry amplifies the metaphor, and the metaphor amplifies the document. Yeah. So the mentorship class does something called meta teachings. They're a meditation and a teaching at the same time. In these newer documents, I present it as a speech because it is meant to be read out loud. Your out loud voice is the most important part of this course. You are not a meek 50s housewife or a mouse in the corner. You've got to learn to master that voice. And the way the wording and word order, it is there to amplify the potency of frequency behind the voice. And then once you have found a voice, you record it. And then after you record it, you go back and listen to it. And this opens up self-examination. Because the words, whether you're reading them to yourself or you're listening to them, have a triggering effect on people. One of the things that was when I was doing the test bed with, one of the things that was said to me is like, this has given the best definition of depression, the best definition 7 Ways from Sunday on shame, blame, and guilt. It left no stone unturned. So whatever way your mind learns, you will find something that is a positive trigger to creating the opening of understanding it at a deeper level. Okay.
Now, if I may,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, when we've done it as well, I mean, one of your teachings, I couldn't stop crying, that absolutely hit me to the core. And then immediately then I needed to address where that came from and the part of myself that I wasn't allowing to cry. But even, like you say, if information overload at the moment, we're using discernment. Your teachings are fantastic for that as well, just within your own confidence. And like you say, with the depression and the self-doubt and just that confirmation for yourself on, you know, giving yourself that space and that time and that healing. And I love to watch my body and how my body responds. I love when it's the poetry parts, I like to change how I'm reading it and different parts and different teachings. Playing with my voice with them has a massive effect as well. I just think they're so beautiful.
Thank you very much. They were well crafted as an actual art energy, but the high level of teaching behind it. Okay.
Yeah, and I love the way it's a bit like teachers at school when you can be taught a certain way, but some people need a different language to understand. So although you say the shamanism has been taken out, it hasn't, it's still there, but it is just a different vocabulary and a different way of teaching, but which I love as well, because it's just teaching me the same material but from a different point of view. So I loved it.
Thank you. All right, second here. The nature of these classes are meant for you to ask questions. Here's where you're still getting a lot of the mentorship vibes. Every time you come in, I open the class early, you have a chance to talk to me, and then during the class, when we're doing the two teachings, you have a chance to ask specific questions about yourself. Also, those are always open, because a lot of times the teaching will teach something about yourself, and sometimes asking a question that's related to yourself, like, I've dealt with depression for a while and this particular line triggered me. Why is it triggering me? And then the grander journey that's open, you get to ask those questions so it can continue your part of the journey when you're not in the class and you don't exactly have 10 hours a week to invest, but you've got an hour a week to invest. Okay? And for the longest time, I've said C+ effort is enough. A lot of people obsess and want to stay at A+ effort forever, but the reality is you can't stay at A+ effort. You have a life. You have friends, you have families, you have all those things that's going to ask you to spend time with it. In these new teachings, with a lot of the responsibility taken out for those people who are leading challenging emotional lives, kids, family, whatever it is a way for you to still have the high frequency teachings at a less invested time, but still get the same results. All right. Did anybody have any questions here? We've got some people in the chat room. If you want to ask anything about the course itself. No. All right, let's move on. So the class costs $500. You will be getting 4 2-hour classes with that, and you'll have all of the teachings that come with it. And we're looking for people who want to begin this journey to get out of information overload, to get onto the path of creating some form of personal change, something in their life that is new, vitally needed for them, to find the liberation from hermetism too. If you find yourself stuck at home, you have a sense of community here. Sam, you were saying before that all the classes you take, the sense of community you have in each one has been outstanding for you.
Oh yeah, massively. And just friend and like genuine lifelong friends that I've now created, you know, with Laura, Matthew, Dale, yourself, Joel, you know, and just Tina. I mean, yeah, the list goes on. And just Amy, yeah, the list goes on. And I just feel like I'm turning up with my family. And I can also be really vulnerable and speak of things that you wouldn't necessarily speak of ever before in my life. And I just have that safe space, which again, is just, I don't know anywhere else that I've ever felt that from my own personal point of view. Yeah, with friends, but there's different levels, because not only are you being vulnerable, you get a different points of view with Andrew and different solutions, resolutions, and different ways of looking at something that you might not have done before. And yeah.
Okay, Laura, do you want to add anything about the community?
I love the community, like Sam said, because you're getting everybody of that same frequency, but everybody's got their own perspective on a teaching of Andrew's. We, you know, when someone asks a question, you've always said this, Andrew, when someone asks a question, it's going to reply to you in in one way or another. All questions are relevant. People bring up things that I haven't even thought of. So it's such a consciousness expanding, mind expanding time. And yes, you do feel like you're among friends. And like Sam said, they're people that you come back to time and time again. And the safe space, as Sam says, where you feel you can share. Because the problem is, so many of us who do this have grown up feeling like the outsiders. We've all heard like we feel like we're the black sheep of the family and all that stuff, but we still do sometimes. And there's also the needing a compass to navigate these difficult times, which can be really quite stressful for some people. And when you come to one of these little group gatherings, whether it's mentorship or these new teachings, then you feel like you are with people who understand and are going to help you, as well as Andrew does, help you just get through some of the difficulties and apply these teachings. That's what it's all about with what he's done here. It's not just written stuff that you read out. You're actually going to apply it to your own life to give yourself an enhanced life, a better life, really.
And then when you're having other people read it out and you're able to hear their interpretation of it, it allows you to free up your own perception of something that might be rigid in you that's not allowing the voice to roll with the words. So much of these of my system that I use for everything is called the out loud name it to claim it system. It is that voice in this time making manifestation that makes the biggest changes in one's ability to perceive, receive, and understand vibration, harmony, and balance within yourself. Mastering that voice. Laura, you and I have the joke, you started as the 50s housewife's voice, okay, in 2015, and look where you've gone to now.
Yes, my goodness. I don't recognize myself sometimes. I certainly don't recognize my voice, how I was, even coming on the new teaching shows like 3 years ago. I've changed since then. And that is because of your teachings. That really is because I have applied myself. But it was your teachings are the basis for all of that, and applying what you're teaching. Again, it's just the out loud name it to claim it, absolutely. And then looking at your programs, which is ultimately what this course is about, isn't it? We're looking at all the programs that are running us, and suddenly you reach a stage where you can see those programs. The
and begin to do change to those programs. I don't want to use the word battle, but enact change where they don't have the strength of control over your everyday life like they did before.
No, absolutely. And even a meek voice is a program that I had. The subservient program, if you like, among others. So it's a finding your voice course as well. This
finding your voice. It's also a finding your path course also.
Yeah.
A lot of times information overload stops people from even figuring out what their path is. And this first group of 8 teachings are here to help clear out the fog that's obscuring your natural pathway to change. Like depression. What does generous depression do? Everyone's got it. It stops you from expanding. It stops you from feeling. It makes you numb. It makes you think you're incapable. The same thing with the worthiness teachings. Once you're able to get those as foundations in you, making changes, it doesn't become hard. The effort is far less, and the results you see are far more compared to the once or twice a year you might have battled a program and won. But in between that, you aren't able to maintain it, and the victory becomes hollow because the program regenerates itself, because you don't go the next level and the next level, which is saying I'm maintaining this internal balance. I'm not allowing information to overload me, and now it's time for me to embrace my feelings. I cannot be numb to these anymore.
I was just about to say that, Andrew, because it's also about, for me, as finding my heart, like really connecting and loving myself and really listening and tuning into my heart, which I hadn't done for a very long time. So, and that's what comes with that, because ultimately it is creativity, isn't it? Looking
Yes.
inside and, and creating within yourself to out create that, externalize what's come in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's so beautiful.
And some of it borderlines fearless creativity,
Mm.
innocent creativity.
Yeah.
What's the difference between fearless creativity and innocent creativity? Fearless is the adult, innocent is the inner child.
Yeah, I was
When
about
the
to say.
adult you is truly fierce in the moment, there isn't anything you can't accomplish when it comes to beating a program. When the innocent creativity, that's the purity, the bubbly of joy spirit coming through and just amplifying the experience with an internal love of just doing.
Yeah.
And when you're able to do that on demand and it doesn't take weeks for you to build that up, you're able to get things accomplished, even if it's just something simple. Little victories first. So important that we allow these little victories first. So many people are looking for the big victory, the big victory, the big victory. Accumulate your small victories, and a bunch of small victories become a massive victory over a program you never thought you could beat. And the next thing you know, it's a mute program in the background because you've taken its potency away.
Mm.
You've learned why it's there
Yeah.
and taken away its purpose to be negativity within you.
Yeah, and the joy of doing it as you're going through the teachings is so joyful to go through it, because you do notice a difference in yourself as you're going through it all.
Sure. Now, the mentorship class was also for people who've at least experimented on removing the serious stick from their ass. Okay. In this course, you could have a full stump up there, and it won't matter. We're going to teach you stump and stick removal.
And you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, and you're going to enjoy it. All of a sudden, your hind end's suddenly going to be free, and you're able to just find a flow that can put a smile on your face again. That triggers a natural dopamine release instead of the Facebook dopamine or the social media dopamine hits we've been giving ourselves because that's the only way we've been able to maintain ourselves. The world is full of chaos right now. And back in September, right after Charlie Kirk passed away, is where I saw how broken the world was. And that's when I created these new teachings. I realized how much bad it's going to get and much more worse far after this live conversation. The information is going to get more challenging, more darkness, more of the darkness trying to stare at you as you're looking at it. Until finally we'll go, I don't need to look at the darkness. I can find the light within inside myself and expand my personal light journeys by mastering my present voice.
And that's why also, I think, like, you've done all this work, Andrew, but also you've made it so affordable for people,
Yeah.
like by already doing some of these teachings and readings, like I see how much energy, worth, and everything that you've put that together, and
Yep.
personally I value it a lot higher. So I just think it's amazing that you're doing that and putting all the material out at such an affordable price for people,
Yep.
because it will change your life if you're willing. It will
Yep.
change you.
So
Yeah.
the mentorship class cost $1,500, but you also got 2 half-hour sessions with it. Okay. This class is $500, and you just get your standard 8 hours. There's no private sessions that are incorporated with it. So it's 1/3 the price. Okay, we have payment plans available for whoever wants to be able to join. Okay, if you go to my website right now, andrewbartzis.com, you can see everything that's there. There's also a playlist of three sample classes that I've done over the while that are able for you to go and see what sample classes are like. And let's say you can't really afford it right now, but you want to try it out. Those are those classes there. And let's say you're at the point where I'm ready to embark on a general change for myself. Whatever is in the equation of your life that isn't working, these teachings can help you get back on track.
And when you've done them for yourself, although it's a ongoing thing, you can, if you have clients, you can use them with clients as well, which is what I've done, which is brilliant, which makes it a ridiculously low price, actually, Andrew, when you think about the uses this can go through.
Mm-hmm. Over the years, we've heard the word psychic surgery. Okay, anything that's using words to create change is a form of psychic surgery.
Mm.
But this is designed as self-surgery. Words that are directed to the self, from what the self is experiencing, or what the self isn't experiencing because the program is blocking it out. And because we are the out loud, name it to claim it system, when you begin to experiment with your voice, because all these are written as speeches designed so that your body hears them. Sam, Laura, what's it like when your body actually hears these words?
Well, you cry, or you get all sorts of responses, and you feel it's sometimes, and more often than not, you feel it in the body before it's actually percolated the mind, if you know what I mean. The body is responding first, whether it's a twitch or for me, it tends to be a tear, or a feeling in the gut, or there's something internally that's going on in the body that's, do you know what it is? It's a recognition. The body recognizes words. It recognizes, the trauma. That's a big one. It can pick up on that, because it's not, we can't always say it's a pleasant feeling, because sometimes I've had a sense of nauseousness, which is like a remembering. And that will happen in the body before my mind's even computed it. And then there's also that incredible deep sense of joy that you can get from some of it as well, because it works both ways. And the other thing there is that deep remembrance, like, I know this. I know this. I knew this sometime. I did know.
The truth is a resonant frequency. And these words are strings of resonant frequency that rings true through the definition and examples and metaphors that are there to trigger you into awareness, not trigger you into negativity, but into awareness for what these words are and the resonant frequency value as a teaching they have, because your body recognizes truth.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. And also just working more and more, on yourself and looking inwardly, the more you get to know your body. So like I read some of these parts and I can feel my legs unwinding, or I could feel where I didn't pay attention. I had something on my neck, like in my neck, that I need to release, or just like the buzzing sounds like coming, or the different frequencies coming through your ears, as well as, the emotional side of it. And just an area where you wasn't ready to look at, but now you're willing to, then your body's showing and communicating to you where you need to look first. So it's really fun when you're working, as a wholeness.
And once you start listening to the body, there isn't anything you can't beat. Anything. Mm-hmm. You are not so broken you can't be fixed.
They also bring, I think it was the Worthiness, one of the first ones we read, there was a sentence in there that had actually happened to me, being dismissed by a teacher, and all the trauma it brought with it. And because it was one of the first ones we read. I think Sam cried. I know I cried because it enabled a trauma release for me.
Yeah, that was the journey to wholeness, not worthiness.
Right. Okay.
That was
Yes.
the wholeness one. Yeah.
Wholeness one. So it enabled me to release something, because it was like somebody, or the writings, the teaching had recognized that it was that resonance. It was like I had an acknowledgement that had happened to me, and it wasn't just me. So that a trauma had happened to me that the teaching had brought up, and it brought out, and I cried. And I actually didn't need to do any more work on that. Sometimes just the words help release the trauma, just the words on their own, because of the way the whole document is worded, which is with such compassion as well.
And can you feel your own compassion? Can you feel your own transference from the person that said, I'm going to record this and I'm going to do my best to maintain the power of my voice?
And that's where journaling's great as well, Andrew, isn't it?
Right. Now, the only big homework for this class is when you do a practice and you record it and you listen to it, I ask you to journal about it. The mentorship class had much more practice, much more homework. Why is journaling so important?
Hindsight, foresight, you're able to look back and see how you felt, and then measure with, your foresight looking forward, how much you've grown. Because for me, it really shows me my victories, how much I've changed, how quiet my voice was, what I didn't recognize that I now recognize, and how will I plan the future now I've had that recognition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Also, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I just really recently noticed as the self-critic, I was reading back through my journal, and I was always talking about the self-critic and what I need to look at. And I wasn't actually talking about how much has happened to me and how enjoyable it's been, and the joy that's now in my life, and how much, my life's changed. So I was like, that's changing.
So one of the other thing is, once we get into the cycle of journaling about ourselves and our experience, we learn to let the fullness of our personality out, even the negative sides. Because sometimes the negative side just needs to go from brain to finger manifestation. It's written in English words, and that manifestation alone can take 60% of the negative energy in you and put it onto the paper that you can go back and read later and go, wow, I was really negative then. Look how much I've changed. And when you begin to trust that space, I let whatever it's going to be, the creativity is accessed again. So many people have all their creative sources blocked from them. And when we learn to trust that journal space, we get hindsight. We've talked about that over and over again. But then we get foresight. There'll come a point where you're going to write into your journal, this is for me of the past. Oh, but this is for the Andrew of the future. 6-7 weeks from now, I've got some advice for you. And when you start writing advice to your future self, you've mastered that journey of hindsight and foresight. Because the past self is always giving you the advice of who it was, what it was going through. And then you get to write to that future self. And then that future self from some months from now goes back to read those stuff and go, wow, was I in tune then? And that begins the sense of wonder. And so many people have lost the joy, the great wondrous power of wonder alone.
That must be why I look forward to doing my journal. And I think what you've described is, I now see it as a friend.
Yeah.
So I do my journal before bed and I get all excited about it. And it's like, oh, I can do my journal. But that, I think what you've just said means I'm opening it up to read me.
Absolutely, because it is all about you, past, present, and future, simultaneously existing.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I like drawing in mine as well and doing pictures for myself, so I go back and look at them.
Like I will have doodle, paragraph, paragraph with doodles in the center. Okay, whatever I need to find that flow, even if the whole journal entry is a bunch of doodling. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, there are a lot of people that just can't get their engine started when it comes to journaling. A lot of that is depression. A lot of that is shame, blame, and guilt. And then an even bigger amount of that is just plain procrastination and lazy. Okay? Procrastination and laziness have become pervasive in our world culture. Life comes at us so fast with words, conspiracy theories, politics, etc. We put our attention to these other things and lose the attention span of all the things that really make a difference to us. And when we challenge lazy to go, I will not be lazy today. I will open up that journal. I will write something, even if it says, journal, I will write something today. I am challenging the lazy inside of me to no longer be lazy. I'm telling the person inside of me that wants to procrastinate, tomorrow is not a day on the calendar. Today is the day on the calendar. And giving yourself the ability to synthesize the various aspects of yourself and create manifestation through words. Why are words so important now? Because without our voice, we would just be sign languaging, wouldn't we? We wouldn't have singing. We wouldn't have comedy that makes us laugh. Think of all the things that words do for our whole reality. And then there's the light workers out there. I just want the telepathy. I can tell you something about all the other telepathic beings out there. They still talk. They still manifest words. But they've learned how to make them more important than the banter of, muggle banter that we have here. Did you paint the fence today? Is the garage door open? They find much more meaning and philosophy behind the words they're going to say out loud. And telepathy is still an out loud voice. All right, I want to turn it to anybody that has any questions they'd like to ask. Anybody in the chat room would like to ask a question? You can just unmute yourself. Bunch of chickens today. All right. Maddie, did you have anything you wanted to add? And I'm putting you on the spot. Nope, he must not be
Hey,
there.
Andrew.
Hello, how's it going?
It's going good. I couldn't even find the mute button, but I will say, the journaling, when you were talking about the value of it,
Yep.
Hindsight, foresight, absolutely. It's like having depth perception, right?
Yep.
Orientation as compared to, I don't know, like I knew about a person who was driving with monocular vision. I thought that was so 2D. How did you even do that? And then she got her other eyeball, and now she's like driving with that kind of. I mean, that's wild, right?
Yeah. It's like listening to mono speakers in your laptop. Why is it only coming out of one side? Okay.
Yep.
And then when we learn to think in stereo again, learn to speak in stereo, our mind and our heart and our voice are unified in the message.
It's like the audio system in a car when you're driving down the road. It's an undescribable feeling. Yeah.
Yep.
I just wanted to offer that. It was pretty cool.
Cool. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions, statements, something they'd like to ask me about the class, about life?
Hi, everybody. It's Rita.
Hello, Adita. How's it going?
I just enrolled. I'm in.
Yay! Welcome to the class.
Many, many years ago, I followed somebody and she promised me the stairways to heaven and enlightenment. And I got completely sidetracked somewhere where I shouldn't go. So I give it another go. Maybe that time it's the true and the real stuff. Let's see what happens.
That's really cool. Glad to have you on board. That's brilliant.
So, Editha,
cool.
I remember the depression teaching. I think I had shared it in one of the mentorship classes, and you had said that was one of the first times that something spoke to you at such a deep level.
Yes, yeah. And giving up that because of my journey where I went, there was lots of shame, blame, and guilt. And it just haunted me for years and years and years, and with my kids and everything. And just to drop that layer, that was just incredible. It was a lot of tears, but it was incredible not to feel the shame, guilt, and all that stuff anymore, just to say, yeah. And forgive myself. I learned from you, not to forgive others, but to forgive myself. That was a big, big teaching for me.
Outstanding. Would anybody else like to ask anything? All right, then. I want to encourage everyone to go onto the website and sign up for the class. It begins March the 21st. There are payment plans available for you. And if you're in that millennial crowd or that Gen X or crowd and you're having trouble with the overload of information, the world just getting crazy, here is a springtime investment for you that can help you create the change that you have in your life. Any last words from anyone?
I look forward to seeing you all there and making some new friends.
And just to say thank you, Andrew, for bringing these out, because they really are incredible. And I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody there, just as Sam said, and getting yet even more, because they're bottomless, these teachings.
Right.
Timeless.
The grand journey of creating the unique change inside yourself begins on March 21st at 2 p.m. That's every Saturday for 4 weeks in a row. For one price of $500, you will be able to join on the new teachings and get that grand journey, opening yourself up to creating the personal change inside yourself. All right, everybody, I look forward to seeing